Good morning, children. Welcome back. Today we are going to continue with the same chapter, that is, chapter number 18, The Environment and Us. Previously, we have seen in the videos that what and how the environment is getting affected. What are the reasons and how we can create awareness among society to preserve and conserve our environment. So, these all things we have seen in the last videos. Today we are going to see some more points in this chapter. So let's continue with the explanation for the chapter. In this part of the video today we are going to see that how and what all efforts are made to maintain biodiversity. So in this we are going to see biodiversity parks, sanctuaries, national parks and they rise a boon for all living creatures. That is a place where living creatures are not being killed and they are safe and securely living in that particular environment that is close to the nature. So let's begin with the explanation. Biodiversity parks, an area which is safe and secure and has been reserved for the purpose of protecting and conserving the biodiversity that is present in that particular region. So it is called as biodiversity park. So in these parks, what it is done, the biodiversity is preserved as well as it is being studied also. Various things that are happening in the nature, the researchers go and study in these biodiversity parks. People visiting such a park enjoy being close to the nature. That is, they feel that they are close to the nature by seeing the greenery that is spread in these parks as well as the animals that are present, how they are being preserved and safe. These lead to more concern for nature. This way, people can create awareness among others to preserve the environment. As we all know that because of the growing population, we have seen in the earlier videos how the problem is arising. That is, for the shelter as well as the requirement of food is increasing. Due to this, what it is done, forests are being cut down and the habitat of wildlife is getting destroyed. So these national parks are built. Some areas which are important for the protection of conservation of wildlife are reserved for them. That is, an environment is created wherein they feel that they are living in their habitat. And this is especially for the wild animals. So, for example, the Kaziranga National Park, the Tadoba National Park. So, these are few examples where wild creatures, wild animals are being preserved and they are being safely kept at such places. We have seen biodiversity parks, even we have seen national parks. Now the next one is sanctuaries. Now these are the places or the areas, the forest areas which have been reserved for the protection and for the conservation of particular type of animals or plants. So you will find in such areas a particular kind of animals, means throughout the forest only one type of animals or plants will be available, or more than that it would be one, two or three in number. So such type of reserve areas are called as sanctuary. So one of the example is Radhanagari sanctuary for bisons. And if the plants on the earth are destroyed, the numbers of animals are also going to fall. Why? Because the animals which are dependent on the plants for their food, they won't get the food and automatically their numbers are going to get reduced. So we should not harm animals as well as plants. That is why it is very necessary to protect plants also in the forest area. Plants and animals are also called as flora and fauna. Flora means plants and fauna means animals. So if deforestation is being stopped and instead we are going to plant more and more trees, then what will happen? The animals that are dependent on the plants for their food will be protected and will continue their life, and their life would not be in danger. Why? Because there would not be any kind of shortage of food for them. That means the animals that are dependent on plants for their food, they can get the food easily and they can survive in future also. One of the lake has been formed at Satara district and that is present on the Chand river. So that lake is called as Mayani Lake, and it is been formed due to a dam built near that river. The another type of birds are flamingos. From the Siberian region, they migrate to the lake that is present in northern Asia. Here they do a process of reproduction. That is, they give birth to their young ones. They build nest and then they lay eggs. Once the baby birds are grown and they are big enough, they can survive by themselves. So they come back again to Siberian region. They return to the Siberian region. So, in the recent past, as the water level in the dam had fallen suddenly because of the reason of global warming, so the flamingos have stopped coming there. Why? Because there the water level is less, so they have not been migrated from Siberian region to the northern Asian region where the lake is present. However, the lake that is present in northern Asia is been declared a sanctuary for these flamingos. Moving on to the next one is Maldok. That is the biggest Maldok, or even it is called as Great Indian Bustard. Its sanctuary is present in Asian continent in the region of Nanaj in Solapur district. They are very huge in weight and they are famous for their graceful gait, and even they live in the open grasslands. So they like to live in the open grasslands. So these great Indian bustards eat insects that are present in the field, in the crops. So that is why even they are called as farmers' friends. As they have been hunted for their meat as well as for their eggs, so the number is dwindling fast. That is, they are getting less in numbers day by day. Maharashtra state has declared the Nanaj area as a sanctuary for the great Indian bustard. We have seen about bisons, we have seen about flamingos. So this, that is great Indian bustards, are having sanctuary at Nanaj area. So deer are also found in these areas. They are present in the grasslands along with these great Indian bustards. Moving on to the next bird is peacock. So about 50 km from Pune on the Pune-Ahmednagar highway, there is a village. That village is named for Morachi Chincholi and it is famous for its peacock population. Even we can find here old tamarind trees and they create a favorable environment for these birds. So they like to live in these particular areas where tamarind trees are being found. Peafowl have found sanctuary in this village. So this particular birds are having sanctuary in this village. So that is why it is called as Murachi Chincholi. Now peafowl, we know that peacock is a male one, whereas peahen is a female one. So in general we say peacock. So peafowl falls in both the categories as male and female. Moving on to the last part in the chapter is Devrais, a boon for all living creatures. So, our Indian culture gives importance to the protection of forest. Even we have heard about the culture that in India we worship many plants and animals, and even there are certain festivals also on these plants and animals. So, how much importance is given to these plants and animals? We come to know a better example of this is Devrai. So, people believe that Devrai is really a jungle reserved for God. That means no trees or plants in a Devrai is ever cut. All are being preserved and all are given equal importance. That is why all the trees are being preserved in Devrai and they are safe today also. Our state, that is Maharashtra, is having many Devrais. Even in India, we can find Devrais in Madhya Pradesh and they are known as Sharanvan. Devrais give shelters not only to the plants but also to the animals. That means we know in Devrais none of the plants are going to be killed or they are going to be harmed. They are protected. In the same way, none of the animals are going to be harmed in Devrais. It is a protection for both plants and animals. What it means? It is a protection to flora and fauna. Hence, Devrais or Sharanvanas can be called as the sanctuaries of the ancient times. We have seen different types of sanctuaries, national parks, bird sanctuaries, and these are the sanctuaries that are present in India from ancient times and is being followed today also and will be followed in future also as well. My dear children, in this part of the video, we have seen that how plants and animals have been protected and different sanctuaries, parks have been to preserve this biodiversity. Now, these parks and sanctuaries are built to give them a protection. But it is a duty as a part of our country to protect these plants and animals and preserve them because ultimately they are also part of this world and equal importance should be given to all the living creatures that are present on the earth. Here we end with our chapter. Thank you for watching the video. We'll be meeting in the next video with the next lesson. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.